everyone, Darren Hunter here with Deniz Yusuf. This is the Top Growth Podcast show where we teach you how to grow your rent rolls with 28 different strategies. And don't forget, we've got the BDM Coach Podcast show as well on the same platforms where we teach you the skills that top BDMs need to have to sign up 10, 20, even 30 properties a month. So go and subscribe to that as well. Plus, we've also got Win Your Worth podcast show where we're going to teach you how to get the best fees and how to deal with those fee objections as well. So a lot of podcast shows there, Deniz, but I just think that we can't be boxed into one series, can we? We've just got to have these different versions for different purposes.
And it is, and we do our best in trying to cover everything. Obviously, growth is a massive factor of what we do. But Darren, I feel there's potentially another podcast show that we can add to the mix, and it's AI. Like it's a podcast, whether it's a series that we just release, it just, in what people are doing and what we're seeing and the effects it's going to have on the industry. It's already impacted real estate. We're already seeing changes. And, but yeah, look, we love growth. I love growth. I love talking about growth, sharing results. And this one today, Darren, is an interesting topic of what we're covering as well, because we're talking about removing negativity, right? We're talking about, but turning that negativity into positivity as well. And that's all right. Through where you gain trust. We were just talking about trust before this. You win business, full fees if you've got trust. And this is a great way of doing it.
All right. So let's bring in today's topic. So everyone, no surprise, we are in a trust economy. So for a deal to be done, trust must be in place first. Now, if you get a person referred to you, word of mouth, a referral, something like that, wonderful. Okay, but sometimes people haven't actually decided who they want to use. And so they may then go to Google Maps and start looking at property management businesses in the area. Your business then comes up. Now your reviews come into play. All right. And everyone, we're just actually referring from how to get loads of leads from online reviews. Actually, page 15 of Deniz's book, The Lead Machine Secrets. Got a copy right here, everyone. It is the best rent roll growth book, I believe, out there. I don't know if there's anything else, Deniz, I've ever seen on the planet that's as good as this. 28 different ways to grow without having to rely on your salespeople, everybody. And look, the book is free. We've paid for the printing. All you've got to do is pay for the shipping. So you still got to invest. We want you to invest. So just go to leadmachinesecrets.com, get yourself a copy. And so, Deniz, we're referring to page 115, again, strategy number 10 in the book on getting loads of leads from online reviews. But before we do, because I don't think there's any really good quality business out there that hasn't got bad reviews. Now, how do bad reviews come in? A lot of the time, certainly in property management, someone's got their nose out of joint because they didn't get accepted on an application. And so they come in anonymously. And so it's unfair, right? Or they've really been upset and angry at the property manager after a final inspection. And they think, so this is their way of getting back at you. And I've even had a bad review from someone that disagreed with a personal political comment that I made on an obscure post where they went in, they saw my profile, saw that I was then connected to IGT, and then went to IGT and punished on an unfair review. Simply gave a 1-star with no reason, had nothing to do with real estate. So Deniz, let's talk about that, and how can people get these reviews removed?
Darren, I remember on that topic that you're talking about, when somebody went and wrote a review, one of the things that they mentioned is, as long as Darren Hunter is working for, I will keep this review here. Now, because of that exact wording, it allowed us to remove the review. So these are things that people have got to look at. They've got to remember that if you get personal and you're bringing up a name and you're potentially defaming a person, Google doesn't want that on the review. So you can go and report it, right? So, and that's what we did. We actually replied them, sorry, we don't know who you are, blah, blah, blah. And then they went and added that to it. So, there's certain things that are on reviews where things can get removed. I remember, Darren, when you said, when I saw the 1-star review come through, I'm going, oh, who is it? And you went, I think I know how. I commented on this post, and I just did the forehead slap, right? Because, and no discredit to you, you're allowed to have an opinion, right? But in our situations, we have to zip our lips sometimes, right?
Well, it was a political comment, and you and I have made a commitment we won't use social media for political opinions, but in this case here, I just gave a comment on a post. A lot of these posts that come out, they're just begging for you to take sides, and I just made a comment.
Yeah.
And someone obviously took offense because my opinion didn't match theirs, and they wanted a way to punish me. And this is what happens. It's that pile on, isn't it? It's because everyone wants to pile on you, and it's the cancel culture. And that leaked out onto IGT. Now, Deniz, also don't forget, over a couple of years ago, we had a person within the IGT Inner Circle. If you're not already part of the IGT Inner Circle Facebook group, go to IGT Inner Circle. Make sure you answer the 3 questions, but come in. We need to check that you're actually part of the real estate community and not a property management hater. There's whole groups out of the people that want to bash on property managers. Once we confirm you're in the industry, in your company, you got to answer those 3 questions. But this person had a well-known anti-property manager campaigner or an influencer that hates property managers do a video on one of her properties, and all of his influencers or his followers swarmed over her Google profile and gave 30 or 40 unsavory reviews. Again, an unfair situation. And we worked hard with that person, didn't we, Deniz, to reverse that? So, what were the steps that were taken?
Well, some of the steps that we're taking, and this one's aligned with what happened with IGT, it was bullying or harassment. So whenever bullying or harassment, so Google have got their guidelines. So, you can't just click. A lot of people make the mistake when they're doing a Google review, Darren, and so when they're reporting is they just say they weren't with us or don't know who they are. That's the wrong approach. You actually have to click the right category assigned to the Google review. So, for example, with your one, with our one, we chose bullying and harassment, and the review was removed within seconds. Obviously, they've got their AI or their people or whatever. Same thing happened with another client of ours. They used names in it. If this person ever works here, do not use them. It was bullying, and the review had been reported a few times, and I read the review and I said, I'll report this one, and I had a look at it, I reviewed it, and I did do the bullying harassment, and it was removed within 12 hours. Right, so bullying and harassment, you can't, if you're being bullied or names are being brought up, discrimination and hate speech as well. So you can categorize depending on it. If it's a tenant coming against you because of something and they're harassing you on it, then it can. Any personal information cannot be brought up in a Google review when it's being a negative Google review. Obviously, if it's positive, it's fine, right? I work with Darren Hunter. He's amazing. Thank you so much for helping me. But if it's a negative thing and it's bringing up personal information, then it can be removed. So you've got to make sure that you're selecting the right review. Any harmful comments as well, Darren. So I'm going to read this because this is really important. And I've gotten this straight from Google. Harmful review contains content that encourages, promotes, or provides instruction for self-harm, misuse, dangerous item or substances, or detailed encourage graphic violence to people or animals. Right? Obviously, this is a little bit different to real estate, but depending on your industry, that's going to suit. Any review personally attacking a specific individual. Discrimination. Review has harmful language about an individual, group, or based identity. So they're very strict on this. Conflict of interests. Review is from someone affiliated with the business or a competitor's business, right? So that means if I work for one company and then my rival says I don't like them because, you can come against profanity or anything harmful, and then there's spam or off topic. Off topic, I find review doesn't pertain to an experience at or with this business. That one doesn't have as much energy for Google to act on it straight away. So they're basically the guidelines. So if your name's been brought up, mentioned, personal information has been put on there, then you can jump on there and get it reported. And like you said, Darren, jump into the IGT inner circle, say I've got a fake review, someone's being hateful or harmful, and our community, we come together and we will help you with your reviews.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get into it, Deniz, and strategy number 10, which actually closely follows in line with strategy number 28, which is building your Google My Business profile. It's all part of that. So, but just going to strategy number 10, Deniz. Now, again, the importance, everyone, we're in a trust economy, and reviews are a trust currency. You need to have more currency if you want to get more trust. Trust is a must for a transaction to occur. And if you've got maximum trust, when a person comes to you because of all the quality reviews that you've got, it's very easy to turn around when they ask for a discount. Don't forget, they'll ask for a discount because you work in real estate and you're supposed to give discounts or supposed to negotiate your fee. You give them a good reason why you can't. They've already made a decision to go with you anyway because trust was maximized before they actually asked for a discount. All right. Again, trust economy, trust currency, some new words there today, Deniz.
Yeah.
And so trust currency are reviews. Now, firstly, let's just go to, again, getting reviews. Now, Deniz, before we get into the step 1, step 2 very quickly in the book, remember this actual section here, everyone. Deniz had a business owner from Perth come to him. Deniz, we've got to get this review strategy underway. So Deniz taught exactly, name was Martina, this exact step by step, and in the book we've actually got 5 steps, and we've also got scripts to ask for reviews and what to say. Really important. There's actually 2 scripts in this particular section as well, and there are 5 steps. Now we taught that, or Deniz taught this to Martina, and sometime later I called her up because I heard that things were going well with the reviews, and I said, Martina, she clearly was way out ahead of all her competitors. I think she was about 700 reviews, and the nearest competitor, number 2, was about 400. And of course, the more reviews you got, the more trust you're going to get. And again, we're in a trust currency. So I called her up, said, Martina, how are you going with this trading? She said, Darren, I'll be right back. She came back to the phone about a minute later, and she's got some stats. In the last 4 weeks alone, we've had 276 leads from our Google reviews, or people referring to our reviews, and the 276 leads in 4 weeks was for sales and property management. She said, Darren, it's working amazingly well. So everyone, this stuff works. It works. All you've got to do, get the book, read it, then implement it, and you'll get results. All right. It's not you're going to implement it and nothing will happen. So that's how we've written the book, step by step. So Deniz, let's get into it. Step 1, create a list of potential reviewers.
Yeah. Well, this one's really easy. I mean, the list is in there, but I haven't got the book open. It's closed. But who are you using in your company that can write a review? So let's think about this a little bit more on a broad spectrum. People always think tenants and landlords, right? But they're forgetting, yes, tenants and landlords first off the cuff. What about, looking at it from a wholesome area of real estate? What about buyers? What about sellers, Darren? What about your strategic alliances, your network meetings, right? What about all of your vendors or tradespeople is what we call them in Australia? Anyone that does carpet cleaning, gardening, cleaning, anyone to do or associated with the process of buying a property, selling a property, or involved anything in property management or selling. You've got your, even the people that might stage properties for you, right? They're working with your business. They're talking your business up so you can show credibility to your potential clients. These are all the different types of reviews that we're getting. Right? Because again, you said it at the beginning of the podcast, it's about gaining trust. And you can show them that you've got trust from all categories of real estate. Okay, we like to think just property management. The good thing about the Top Growth podcast show, it's about the business growth. It's not just a BDM. right? So you've got to think of that. What about if you ran an event at a venue? You ran an information night. We've done podcasts on this, Darren. We should do it again. You could get the venue that you went to and you used and ran your information night at, right? There's so many. You've really got to be thinking. It's the hustle and just getting those reviews.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's building the list, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely building the list. Step 2, choose the right time to ask. So we've talked about the people we need to approach. Now, at what time is the best time to ask for a review with those people?
The happiest moment of their life in that process of them dealing with you. So if it's a buyer, right at the buyer's point, once the offer is accepted, or at the auction, or once it's settled, right? Once you're handing them the keys, and that's the same with a tenant. Once you're handing them the keys, or once they've been accepted, the landlords, once you've taken over a private managed owner and you've found them a great tenant, like they're the happy moments, Make sure you're asking, get the happy moment. If you're asking them 6 months later down the track, they feel less obligated to help you, right? You've just done something very good for them. So get them at that time where they're the most likely to be reciprocal for you for doing something good for them.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's move on. Step number 3, deciding on your approach. So we've talked about who we're going to approach.
Yep.
We've then talked about when we're going to approach them. Now we're going to talk about how we approach them. So, Deniz, and you've also, I'll get you to turn to page 118 in your book.
Yep.
All right. And if you can read and just give us that script, just go through. We've got 3 different modes that you've put there in step number 3 in the book, but also you've got a script there you can give us as well.
Well, so the first one obviously is in person. So if you've just done a lease signing and it's in person, the old-fashioned ones where it's paper and they've come to your office, that's when you ask them at that point, right? Second one, video message. So BDMs, this one works amazing for BDMs and it would work well for sales agents as well. You might be doing your follow-up, hey, etc. I'll get through the script in a second. And this one worked for an agency that when we did our very first training session together back in 2017, Darren, in Brisbane, a BDM came up to me and said, Deniz, I'm really worried. There's like 6 or 7 of my rivals sitting at the table that I'm on and the one next to me. And I said, you know what the secret is? Just put it in place because they won't. And
she's too busy.
She sent me a video message sharing what she's done, the results that she's getting, and she was so happy. Right, and it was amazing. So you can send a video message to people, right? It's personal. They catch your energy in a video message, so they're not being bound by reading a text or feeling like they have to follow instruction. And the third one, you can do email confirmation from the first 2, right? If you haven't got them straight away as well. So I'll put your name in there as well, Darren. So hi, Darren. It's Deniz, Yusuf here from IGT Realty. As you know, my job is helping educate potential investors as to why they should use our services. I would love to get a 5-star Google review from you so I can use and show your kind words and experience you've had with us so far. Short, simple, straight to the point, right? Here's another script. Thank you, Darren, for bringing your business to IGT Realty. My role is to help investors understand why our award-winning services is the right choice. If you'd like, you could share a brief review of your experience with us to help other property owners make informed decisions. That one's a little bit more formal, but you've got different types of people as well that you're dealing with. So the scripts are here in the book, Darren. They're here. And
so the second script was actually in step 4. And yeah, so Deniz, you give us some really good meat there. Again, it's just a really meaty step by step. This is what you do. This is who you talk to. This is how you do it. It's all there. We write it in such a way that's so easy for you to use. But Deniz, take us out. Step 5, responding to reviews and the importance of that.
Well, Darren, whenever I'm traveling, I'm always looking for good cafes or restaurants, or even I'm in Manila at the moment and there's so many places to eat. I'm not reading the good reviews. I'm looking at the bad reviews and I'm seeing how the owners respond. I just did a review for the Grand Hyatt rooftop bar. You've been there. We've taken some of our IGT leaders there and our leadership events there, right? And I thought I've never done a review. I wrote a review, and guess what they did? They made me feel special, and they replied it. You have to reply the reviews. It then gives endorphins are released in the person. They get a notification that you've been replied to, and I think that's so important. But ultimately, if it's a bad review that's been written, you need to show your potential landlords, because they're looking at bad reviews versus all the good ones as well, right? And if you show them a good professional review, for example, if it's a tenant, and a lot of people here are going, oh, I don't want to grow my Google reviews because I'm worried tenants are going to go on and slam me. Well, you know what? They're going to go online and slam you wherever they can. They can't do it on a Google review because you don't have any. They're going to go to Facebook groups. They're going to go to LinkedIn. They're going to go to Reddit. They're going to go everywhere. So you may as well be in control of it and give yourself the opportunity to reply it. If, Darren, you were a tenant of mine and you gave me a 1-star review, I'd make this a -5 if I could, because you had holes in the walls and I wouldn't return the bond. Then I'm going to give you a professional, emotional review as to what the legislation is and why the reason you didn't get it back. Sorry that you feel that way, but I've got to follow, and I'm here for my owner. A new owner looking at that is going to go, that is the agent I want working for me. I've rambled a little bit, Darren. I do apologise.
That's cool. That's cool. In fact, everyone, we've got a bonus here because there's actually a step 6 in the book, which I've overlooked. But Deniz, motivating the team with incentives. Just give us an example. Let's talk about the one that we know about in Palmerston North and Show Me the Money. Talk about that one.
Well, there's a couple I can share because it's something that I have done in training. And, Greg Watson, Palmerston North, he put this one in place. And what he did, he stuck $10 notes on the screens with blue tack on the sides of everyone's screens. He had it documented on a whiteboard, and whenever someone's name was brought up in a Google review, they got a $10 note. Obviously, they knew how many $10 notes were on the screens, everyone. Don't freak out. They couldn't just grab them and take them. And whenever someone's name, so let's say Darren had a Google review, he would ring a bell as if they've hit their target. He'd say, everyone, Darren Hunter's got a review, and they'd grab the $10 note and they would slap it on the desk in front of Darren and make a big deal of it, right? So Julie Collins also did the same thing. And Julie actually has quoted, and she said in some of our podcasts and training, she not only, it was all for property management, but it also won them business for sales as well. This is a business growth strategy. It's not just a BDM strategy. So it will work. It worked for both of them, and it's a great way of getting the team motivated. Google want to see consistency reviews. They don't want to see, a pattern of, they got 10 reviews this week and they don't get any for 20 weeks and they get another 10. They then think you're doing a campaign. They want to see that regular intervals. Add it to the KPIs of your team.
Yeah. Well, everyone, everything about reviews there, getting Google reviews, because again, this is all part of building your trust currency. That's the more currency you have, the more you're going to get. People stumble, look at your reviews on your on the Google map, and now you're getting a phone call because now trust has been accelerated because of your reviews, and that's what you want. Trust is a must, and of course, the more trust you have, the more they want to go with you. If they do pop the question for a discount, it's really easy to overcome it because they'd already made their mind up they were going to use you anyway. All right, so everyone, of course, get the book, LeadMachineSecrets.com.
I need to give them one free script as well. And this is where people are always using third parties. Where do potential landlords go when they're looking for a real estate agent? What do? They go to Google. They're not going to all these third-party websites. This is why you need to have full strength on your Google presence. Okay?
Yep. And of course, in strategy number 28, the back of the book, how to build up your Google My Business profile as well. Now, Deniz, people to jump in your diary and have a chat, certainly about reviews or anything like that. Or if you want some rent roll growth coaching, the best way, Deniz, into your diary is
growmyrentroll.com. Anyone can book in here to have a complimentary strategy call with anyone, even if it's just realigning what your goals are. That's what I'm here for.
All right, growmyrentroll.com. That will put you straight into Deniz's diary. Thanks, everyone. We look forward to seeing you in the next podcast episode. Don't forget, you got BDM Coach podcast show and also the Win Your Worth podcast show as well. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you again.